Hey, welcome back. So right now, our pivot chart is breaking out our number of line items sold measure along multiple different dimensions, by product category as well as by date. But sometimes we want to plot two entirely different measures alongside each other in the same chart so we can compare their performance over time, or by some other dimension. Now, since I'm bringing this up, you've probably guessed that Excel has a solution, and you would be correct. So let's see how it works. So first up, I'm going to naively just add the profit measure to our pivot chart. So first I'll select our chart, and then click our Pivot Chart Analyze tab, and then activate the field list, and then I'll just drag in our profit measure on values. So now looking at our chart legend and the lines we see in the chart area, it's clear that one of our measures is drowning out the other. Our highest line by far is profit for surfing products, and then our second highest is profit for beach supplies. Our third highest is profit for riding supplies. And then all of the other lines are basically hugging the exact bottom of the chart. So why is it that our profit data series are drowning out our number of line items sold data series? Well, that's basically because all of these numbers are being plotted on the same scale, but our profit numbers are just intrinsically higher. For each line item sold, we're probably getting a profit of much greater than a single dollar. So for any given product category, our profit number is just inherently going to be quite a bit bigger than our line item sold measure. And as a result, with both of these measures plotted on the very same axis, our line item sold data series all end up getting squished all the way down to the bottom of the chart. Now, aside from that issue, the fact that our chart has 6 data series that we need to keep track of is also less than ideal. This is a good example of why, in general, if you're going to plot multiple measures on a single chart, it's a good idea to not break those measures out into multiple series, as we have here with product category. Otherwise, things get too crowded and muddled to easily understand. So our first step here is just going to be to remove product category from our legend section of our pivot chart. So now we have even more clarity into what's going on as far as our line item sold measure getting squished all the way down to the bottom of the chart. So how do we solve this issue? The solution, it turns out, is to create a secondary axis on the right side of our chart to plot our profits against. Now, one way to do this is to manually select the series that we want to plot on that secondary axis, which I can do just by clicking the line, and then right-click and choose Format Data Series. And now where by default the series is plotted on the primary axis, we'll choose to plot it on a secondary axis. And now if we close out of this window and reselect our chart, we see that both of our measures are now plotted according to a reasonable scale, which means that one is not able to drown out the other. Our profit measure is plotted on a scale ranging from $0 to about 1.2 million, whereas our number of line items sold measure is plotted on a scale from 0 to 16,000. Now the problem with this view is, it's not immediately obvious which series is which without referring to our legend and its color coding. And while this is okay, it's often a good idea to plot each measure with an entirely different kind of chart. In this case, for example, we could try a column chart with our profit measure. But to do this, we actually need to convert our overall chart type to something called a combo chart. So first, let's take our chart back to its original state by putting profit back on a primary axis. And now we're actually going to convert our chart type to combo. So we'll go to the Design tab, change chart type, and then all the way at the bottom, we see this combo chart option. And looking at the bottom of this window, we see that for each data series, for each measure that we're plotting, we have the ability to choose what type of chart we want that metric to be plotted as, and which axis we want it plotted on. So I'll choose a line chart for our line items sold, and then I'll choose a column chart for our profit measure, and I'll plot our profit measure on the secondary axis. And then click OK. And now finally, to make our chart title reflect what we're really displaying, I'll change that to profit versus items sold. And now we have this nice condensed view that shows how not one, but two of our measures, whose numbers are on a completely different scale, change over time. All right. Up next, we'll look at an advanced application of slicers that lets us create dynamic dashboards in which we can use a single chart to toggle through as many measures as we want. I'll see you then.